Good evening, both. Nice to see you. Look, I was going to be a question for both of you, if you don't mind. Look, I'd love to ask you questions about the upcoming game and how big it is, but obviously the last 24 hours have been dominated by a very, very important issue. So, Sarina, first off, I'm just wondering sort of how you've, as a manager, sort of dealt with a very sort of difficult situation when it comes to racist abuse for one of your players. And Georgia, I suppose, the team's all come together to support Jess, but just how difficult have the last 24 hours, but also, I suppose, the tournament been?
Yeah, of course, it's really sad that we have to be occupied by this. It's ridiculous, it's disgusting what's happening, and that goes beyond football, so we had to pay attention to that and support Jess. Of course, she's not the only one who gets this abuse or this racism, and that's why she wanted to address it, and she's fully supported by the team and by us and by myself.
Yeah, like Sarina said then, I think if anything it's probably brought us together as a team. There's some things that we will never be able to understand, and that's one of those. And yeah, we need to cut it out of society, we need to cut it out of football. And of course, we don't know the steps that it takes in order for that to happen, but right now all we can do is show our support, our togetherness, and we can be united in what we want to make sure is right.
Thank you. Hi there, Jane Diggle, BBC. Sarina, how do you balance not giving the trolls any power and going on as normal to prepare for the match versus protecting your player and potentially not playing Jess Carter?
Yeah, well, of course we had conversations, and although it's a hard situation, Jess is a very strong person and she wants to move on too, but she also felt, and so did we, that we had to address this. You can't just let it go. So we did, she did, we did. And then we know there's the match going on, and we want to perform, we're ready to perform, she's ready to perform and to compete. And that says also a lot about her and about the team.
Thank you.
Tak.
Hi. Sarina, you could become only the second manager in the history to lead their nation into 3 successive finals. Not sure you even know that, but it's a pretty incredible achievement. How much do you actually sit down yourself and reflect on these personal achievements, or are you always just thinking about the achievements as a collective and as a team?
I don't. I'm just in the job now. I'm working with the team, and all that keeps me busy is the game tomorrow. And we want to win, and we are in full preparation, of course, where we have been occupied with too. But that's the only thing that keeps me busy. Maybe in 10 or 15 years I'll think about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Well.
Georgia, how frustrating is it that so often, particularly female footballers, in this case Jess, as the victims, have to be the ones to sort of try to galvanise action to hopefully get a response, in this case from social media companies?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is Jess has the power to be able to do that, and she doesn't have the power on her own. She has the power of the Lionesses, of us as players, as staff, as the whole of the FA. So it might sound like one person is fighting this battle, but you never know how many people are actually behind her and stand with her. And I think that's the beauty of football, is if we want to make change, we can do it as a collective, and as a collective we're way more powerful.
And so, what's your message been to the players? Obviously such a powerful moment yesterday as they now focus on the huge matter of a semi-final.
Yeah, well, that didn't need a message. I think the team came really well together, and we spoke about it, and everyone wants to perform tomorrow too, but also wanted to address this and send a message into the world. So, yeah, I think also that says a lot about the team.
Thanks. We'll go to Luke Edwards at Telegraph, please. Thank you.
Just firstly to you, Georgia, does it make it harder to pull on the national shirt knowing that this sort of abuse is happening?
To us, the people that are being abusive and saying these things and doing things like this, they're not fans. So it makes absolutely no difference to us putting that shirt on, because we know that we're wearing it for the people that we stand next to, our families, the actual fans that are here to watch the game, to enjoy the game. And yeah, I say it with power because I really believe it. I believe that people like that aren't deserved to be called fans.
And just on a slightly different tact, Sarina, have you fallen in love with England and the English people?
Yes, I have, but not the ones that G was just talking about. Yeah, it has been incredible, and it is incredible. And there's just some people that do disgusting things.
Thanks. We'll just go in front to Tom Garrier, The Guardian, please. Thanks.
Thank you. Hi, both. Georgia, could I just ask you a bit more about the team's decision to no longer take the knee? What was the reasoning behind that, and why does that feel so important to you as players?
I think it's just to change it up. We felt like the knee was just a little bit repetitive. We felt like, it come to a point where the knee isn't doing what we wanted it to do. So now our decision is to stand, and hopefully that will bring up more conversation, more change, and hopefully get the topic talking.
Emma from the BBC.
Hi, Sarina. I just wonder, on paper, England, obviously, favourites, got the better ranking, better performances in recent major tournaments. So a lot of people would be considering them to be favourites going into the semi-final. Are you having to be wary of that and, make sure that you don't potentially slip up in a game that people expect you to win?
Yeah, I think it would be really disrespectful to Italy to think that we're the favourites. I think they made the semi-final just like we did, and that's very impressive for any team that makes the semi-final. So complacency is just the biggest mistake you could make. We've seen them all. You've seen them all, how they've played. So I don't think there's anything that we could think that we might be the favourite, but we have to be at our very, very best to win the game.
Thank you. Kit Shepherd from The Times.
Hi both. Georgia, we've heard from Piara Power, who's the head of football's international anti-discrimination body FAIR, and he's said today that by not taking the knee, the England players are ditching a powerful action, those are his words. Just what would your response be to that argument?
I think exactly what I said earlier. We've decided not to take the knee because we want more action to be made, and we want to create more of a talking point, more of a point to make more change. I think that starts with social media. It starts with people having access to be able to do these hurtful things. Our stance and our opinion stays the same, and that's what we've decided as a collective.
Thank you. And just Sarina, we saw everyone training this morning. Does that mean you're expecting to have a full complement to choose from tomorrow?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
We'll go to Charlotte.
Hi, Sarina. Hi, Georgia. A question for both of you. I just wondered if you could give us one positive and one negative example of how your lives have changed since Euro 2022 as a Lioness and as manager of the Lionesses.
Fans versus abuse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, say again, Georgia.
I'd say fans versus abuse. I'd probably go back to the point that it was before. Fans can be so powerful, but then there becomes a point where a fan's opinion is a little bit too much, and then it can be, over the line in terms of negativity. But I think what we created off the back of the Euros is a lot of positivity, and I think that outweighs the negative. But it's moments like this that we just do not stand for.
It's similar. I think visibility of the women's game over the last years, that has a lot of impact. That you can now have a profession as a football player or as a coach, that's really, really positive, and the fans involved. And the main negative is the abuse and the discrimination.
Thank you.
Thanks. Aisha, just in front of you. Thanks, Charlotte.
Hi, Sarina. Whose responsibility do you think it is to make football a safe space for everyone?
I think it starts with everyone taking responsibility, and then you have the bodies that are responsible for all these platforms that should do something also.
And Georgia, on a slightly lighter note, I know you like your tattoos. If you were to get a tattoo now to sum up your experience to date in Switzerland, making it to a semi-final, what would it be?
Roller coaster.
Nice. Thanks.
Good morning, Britain. Question for both of you. You've both said you'd like to see more action. Can I just quiz you a little bit more on what that would look like practically for you as a team and also as protection for players like Jess Carter?
Yeah, I think we talked about it yesterday, and it was about if people wanted to stay on social media, if they wanted to come off it. It's standing by your own personal experiences. I think we've had a few people that want to come off social media because they're fed up with it. I think.
Yeah, I think that's all. Like the bigger question is not to answer for us. I think that's the answer for other people.
Yeah.
Catherine at Daily Telegraph.
Hi, a question for Georgia. Beth Mead said this week that the squad's been able to be vulnerable with each other and share tough moments, and she said she felt like it's kind of brought them closer together and contributed to that never say die attitude that we saw against Sweden. Would you kind of feel the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I think being vulnerable is probably one of the most important things because it brings the group so much closer together. I think when times are tough on the pitch, you want to be able to rely on your mate and you want to be able to, look at them in both good and bad and understand that you're both on the right journey and you're both on the right path to exactly what you want at the end, which is to win. We've talked a lot about vulnerability and we've talked a lot about opening our arms up and recognising who's next to us and having the belief in the people that are next to you and not the people that, aren't in the bubble.
Thanks. Michael at The Athletic.
Hi, Georgia. Can I ask about your tactical role on the pitch, how it's changed from previous tournaments? There's been a few times where you've been out on the left flank shouting for a pass. There was a bit against the Netherlands where you were there for about 3 minutes. I don't think a pass came in the end. But is that something you've spoken about and worked on in training, or is it just something that's happened naturally in games? Thanks.
It's just something that's kind of happened naturally. I'm a midfielder and I wouldn't say I've got many super strengths, but I'd say I was a little bit of a good all-rounder. You can put me on the left, put me on the right, and I'll do exactly the same job. I think if anything this tournament I've learned a little bit more discipline. It was Ella Toon fighting the yellow card for a while, whereas every tournament it's been me. So I've took that as a positive this round. I'm happy to do a job either on the left or either on the right. I'm happy to move around for my teammates, link up with them. Whatever's required from Sarina, I'll put a shift in.
Thanks, Michael. Flo Lloyd-Hughes. Thank you.
Hi, both. A question for both of you. Both all the recent matches that England played against Italy have really been friendlies. How do you think sides change in knockout football, in your experience, when you play a side that you've got a good record against, but mostly in those friendly matches? How do you think that those games change when it's a tournament?
Tournament's completely different. You turn up to a tournament and it's just 90 minutes of, it might not even be the better team, but it's who put the ball in the back of the net.
Very competitive. I think we're now the fifth game of the tournament. Both, of course, semi-final. Then something happens with teams. So it's going to be really, really competitive. I don't think you can compare it with the games we've played against them.
Thanks. Can we take a question at the front? Thank you.
Hiya, Angelina from TalkSport. George, I wanted to ask, this is your 4th consecutive major tournament semi-final. Does it ever get any less nerve-wracking? Does it get easier with time?
I didn't even know. You telling me that is...
Have I made you nervous now? Sorry.
I'm already nervous. I'm sweating to be sat here. I'm very grateful to be in this position, and I think it's just credit to the whole of England in terms of us getting this far, the squad, the depth that we have, just how important it is to have, like I said, such depth in the team that brings such quality. And you can see it in the games that we've played so far and how important the substitutes have been and the finishers of the game. And they've come on, they've scored, they've made a difference. And exactly like the Euros last time, we relied so much on Alessia and Tooney coming on and changing the game at about 60, 70 minutes. And it's exactly the same this year. You see the strength and the depth within the squad, and utilising it is the most important thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian.
Georgia, another one. Sorry. Adrian from TalkSport. I spoke to you after the Spain game in Barcelona. You played the first half, and you worked so hard in that half, but you just come back from injury. All the time you're out, just tell us a little bit about the journey, the emotional journey of not knowing whether you were going to make it or not, and how was that for you, and how does it feel now that you've made it and you're here?
To be honest, I still have to pinch myself. I do feel like I'm super grateful to be here. I think when you are out injured, and when I look, well, from the Spain game before that, it was probably 6-7 months before I'd even played. And yeah, in that time you do realise how much you enjoy going to work every day, how much you enjoy stepping out on the grass. And yeah, I really, really missed it. But I think you almost just slot back in. It feels like the time hasn't gone. Now I'm in this situation. At the time I wouldn't say that, but now I'm in this situation, I feel like, yeah, the time's gone really fast. And yeah, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that Sarina had trust in me to be able to, yeah, fight through those months and to be here sat now. But yeah, it wasn't easy, but at the end of it, it's worth it when we're about to play tomorrow.
And physically, how are you now?
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, I feel good actually. Probably a lot better than I would have felt if I'd have continued a whole season. Yeah, I feel faster, fitter, stronger. Wow, that was terrible. Than I've ever felt before. So yeah, I think I really needed that time to work in the gym, work on my weaknesses. And yeah, it was 10 years of playing football without an injury, so I might have needed something.
Thank you.
Can we go to Tom Victor at Daily Mirror, please? Tom. Thank you.
Hi both. Just want to ask about Leah Williamson. Obviously, she couldn't finish the game against Sweden, back in training today, and just what does that say about her resilience and kind of fight to be back in contention to feature?
It says she really wants to play, and she did everything to recover as good as possible, and she has, so she could be training today, and when she recovers well, she's available tomorrow.
And Georgia?
Yeah, of course. She's our captain. We would like her on the pitch as much as possible. She leads in communication and in performance. So to have her on the pitch is obviously what England need.
And Italy obviously had the extra day. They only played 90 minutes versus 120. How much is sort of the mental aspect of recovery going to be as important as physical in terms of being able to make up for that difference?
Yeah, well, we were just really happy that we had an extra day compared to all the other games we played so far. So, and this extra day really helped us. And yeah, we're in a stage now that, yeah, tomorrow when we have to play, we're ready.
Thank you.
Sarina, Georgia just talked about the importance of substitutes, and I wanted to ask you about Chloe Kelly's impact. How did you describe her qualities as a player, and what are you expecting from her on the semi-final?
Well, of course, what I said before, in our squad, we have, for the same positions, we have different players with different attributes to the game. And that's what she brought when she came on, and that's what we hope she will bring too. And she showed that she was really ready. With her, yeah, she could cross the ball right and left, and that's exactly what she did when she came on the pitch, and that was necessary in the game. And came on really sharp, but I think all the substitutes that came on were really sharp and did their job. And it was a hard fight, but we went through. So yeah, that's what we hope that the players bring when they come on the pitch, and that's what makes the team strong.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Christiana with the German press agency. I would like to know from both of you how much you practiced penalties in the last few days and whether you've seen some movement and improvement.
We practiced hours and hours. No, we didn't. No, of course, over the last months, you know that when you go into a tournament and you come in a knockout stage that you can go to penalties. So it's something that players train penalties all the time, also at club. And you just want to be prepared as possible, but also have that process from going into a penalty shootout, what you can expect. Hopefully it's not necessary, but we've practiced it now. Again.
Thanks. We'll go to Nick Ames at The Guardian. Thank you.
Hi, question for either of you, but maybe to Georgia. I think Italy have played here a couple of times already. They've been very well supported, I think, maybe 10,000 fans in the stadium, almost like a home game for them in Switzerland. How important is it that, as well as the team being on it, the fans of the Lionesses are on it in there tomorrow?
Yeah, we know that they'll turn up. Yeah, we have no doubt about that. We love football as a nation, and the Lionesses fans never let us down in the stadiums. And yeah, hopefully we can get the majority in the stadium tomorrow. I think it'll be really nice because it's a closer stadium. The last few games we've had the running track around. So yeah, I think it'll be quite nice because it'll be quite intense, and hopefully there'll be a lot of noise.
Thank you. We'll take two final questions. Tom Gary at The Guardian, Emma Sanders from BBC. Tom.
Hi, Sarina. All the subs who came on played so well in the quarter-final, obviously making a big impact. So have they given you any headaches for your selection?
Well, we have headaches all the time because I think a lot of players can play and can start. That makes, I said a couple of times, that makes the team so strong. So before every game, we take a lot of things in consideration, and so we do also for tomorrow.
Can I just check team news? Obviously, you said Leah's fit. Is everyone else fit?
Yeah,
thank
everyone's fit.
I asked that question in the wrong context because it came after asking Georgia Stanway about the abusive fans. But just what is your relationship like with England as a country and the people? Have you built a deep affection for our style of football, for the way we support football?
That depends on what you really mean with the question, the deep connection. I think a deep connection you build with your family and the closer connection with the team, because I'm around them all the time and around the people I work with. I just what I really see, like how football and sports is into into England is just really impressive and just very nice to be part of.
Okay, we will take one final question from the gentleman at the back, and then we'll conclude there.
Hi, Sarina. I just wondering, you showed a lot of resilience against Sweden when you won that game. What lessons did you learn tactically that you need to bring to this game now against Italy?
Yeah, I think I think this is a different game. I think Sweden was very physical counterattack. I think Italy can do that too. They are they're creative in their shapes. They can do different things. But I wouldn't really say like there's one thing that we really would literally take over to the Italy game.
Okay. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see many of you tomorrow night. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.